Quebec, La Belle Province. Located in central Canada, the province of Quebec shares land borders with Ontario to the west, Newfoundland and Labrador to the northeast, New Brunswick to the southeast, and a coastal border with Nunavik. In the south, it borders the U.S. states of Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and New York. With nearly 1.3 million square kilometers, Quebec is the largest province in Canada in terms of land area and the second most populous province behind Ontario. In 2021, Quebec had a population of 8.6 million people. The province of Quebec is divided into 17 administrative regions. Nearly two-thirds of Quebecers live in urban areas along the mighty St. Lawrence River between the province's largest city, Montreal, and the provincial capital, Quebec City. Accounting for more than 70% of the province's land area, northern Quebec has only about 135,000 residents, or less than 2% of the province's population. Specifically, comprising the northern one-third of the province, Nunavik is a part of the Nord du Québec region and nearly coterminous with Kativik, meaning Great Land in Inuktitut. Nunavik covers an area of about 444,000 square kilometers north of the 55th parallel, and it is the homeland of the Inuit of Quebec and part of the wider Inuit Nunangat. The majority of the Inuit in this region live in 14 northern villages on the coast of Nunavik and in the Cree reserved land of Wapimakutui near the northern village of Kuarabik. When European explorers arrived in the present-day eastern Canada in the late 15th century and early 16th century, the vast area was inhabited by Indigenous peoples. While many First Nations relied on hunting, gathering, and fishing for their livelihoods, Inuit, on the other hand, were engaged in fishing and hunting of whales and seals along the coast of Hudson and Ungava Bay. In 1603, French explorer Samuel de Champlain landed on the shores of the maritime region and traveled to the St. Lawrence River area. With the support of King Henry IV of France, Samuel de Champlain led an exploration team to return to the region 5 years later. On July 3, 1608, he founded the Habitation de Québec, now Quebec City, which became the capital of the colony of New France. The settlement was built as a permanent trading post where First Nations traded their furs for French goods such as metal objects, weapons, alcohol, and so forth. Over time, New France's territory expanded from Hudson Bay all the way to the Gulf of Mexico and would also encompass the Great Lakes. From 1688 onwards, the French and British engaged in fierce competition in order to control North America's interior. During this period, a series of battles were fought involving the European colonists and the native Indians. Following the 7 Years' War from 1756 to 1763, Quebec became a British colony, first as the province of Quebec, then Lower Canada, and lastly, Canada East. In 1867, Quebec joined Ontario, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick to form the Confederation of Canada. The province of Quebec's official language is French. Deriving its name from Mount Royal, which is a hill located in the center of the city, Montreal is the second most populous city in Canada and the largest city in the province of Quebec, with 1.8 million people in 2021 and 4.3 million for Greater Montreal. Founded in 1642 as Ville Marie, or City of Mary, the city is centered on the island of Montreal. Incorporated as a city way back in 1832, Montreal was Canada's industrial and commercial center historically. Today, the city remains an important center of commerce, transport, technology, tourism, fashion, and world affairs. Montreal hosts the headquarters of the International Civil Aviation Organization. Montreal has hosted multiple international conferences and events, particularly the Expo 67 and the 1976 Summer Olympic Games. Widely known as Canada's cultural capital, Montreal is a charming city that blends French, English, and other traditions. It is a unique destination that showcases a distinguished French-Canadian culture, architecture, and a vibrant lifestyle. During your trip, it's worthwhile touring the campus of McGill, one of Canada's top 3 universities, and you should find some time to enjoy its restaurant and the romantic and dynamic atmosphere of Old Montreal. Famous for its dazzling nightlife, Montreal is known as the City of Festivals and Paris of North America. Canada's most popular sport is ice hockey, and all hockey fans should thank Montreal for popularizing the sport. The professional hockey team, the Montreal Canadiens, is one of the original 6 teams of the National Hockey League and has won Stanley Cup championships many times. The island of Montreal is at the confluence of the St. Lawrence River and Ottawa River. When you drive from Montreal to Quebec City, make sure to stop at Trois Rivieres, which is a beautiful city at the confluence of the St. Maurice River and St. Lawrence River. Founded in 1608 by French colonialist Samuel de Champlain, Quebec City is recognized as the cradle of French civilization in North America. Quebec City is the capital of the province. In 2021, the city had a population of 550,000. The Algonquin people had originally named the area Quebec, meaning where the river narrows, because the St. Lawrence River becomes narrower around the city. Samuel de Champlain adopted the Algonquin name when he founded the French settlement here. Quebec City is one of the oldest European cities in North America, and it is the only walled city north of Mexico. Quebec City's skyline is dominated by the Chateau Frontenac Hotel. Citadel de Quebec is a centerpiece of the fortifications of Quebec, which is also a National Historic Site. In 1985, Vieux-Québec, the historic old city, was designated a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. The Plains of Abraham is an historic site within the Battlefield Park in Quebec City. It is here that the Battle of the Plains of Abraham was fought on September 13, 1759. British soldiers under the command of General James Wolfe climbed the steep cliff under the city in darkness, surprising and defeating the French in a decisive battle. The Battle of the Plains of Abraham, also known as the Battle of Quebec, was a pivotal moment in Canadian history. Both Wolfe and the French commander, Magog de Montcalm, died from wounds sustained during the battle. The battle ended French control of Quebec City, eventually allowing the British to take control of New France in the following year of 1760. At the end of the 7 Years' War in 1763, France surrendered many of its colonial possessions, including Canada, to the British. On September the 10th, 1959, Canada Post issued Plains of Abraham, 1759 to 1959. The 5-cent stamp is a favorite for stamp collectors. Today, Quebec City is a culturally treasured destination with rich European background and modern North American character. Each year, the city plays host to millions of visitors and tourists. Apart from rich history, Quebec City is also well known for its European-style cobblestone streets, especially Petit Champlain. Quebec City is recognized as one of the world's best food cities. It's a wonderful experience sitting down for a cup of coffee at the classical red-colored coffee shop in the heart of Ville, Quebec. Parks, wildlife reserves, and scenic attractions are close by, for a host of outdoor activities available all year round. From November to March, Quebec City is a magical winter wonderland. Since 1955, the Quebec Winter Carnival in early February has been one of the world's largest winter festivals. Travel further northward from Quebec City and you will encounter a string of pretty towns and cities, including Rivière-du-Loup, Trois-Pistoles, Rimouski, and Bonaventure. All of a sudden, the mighty Saint Laurent waters empty into the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Some 650 kilometers northeast of Quebec City lies an amazing city called Gaspe at the tip of the Gaspe Peninsula. Apart from many natural attractions, Gaspe is famous for Rocher Perce, or Perce Rock, a massive rock formation. This geological icon of Quebec is one of the world's largest natural arches located in water. The huge rock is 433 meters long, 90 meters wide, and 88 meters high at its highest point, estimated at 5 million tons. Meaning pierced rock, Rocher Perce has been subject to the forces of sea for millions of years. When Jacques Cartier arrived here in 1534, he saw 3 arches in the massive rock. Over time, 2 of the arches disappeared, with the last one collapsing on June 17, 1845, leaving a separated pillar. Perce Rock's 2 large holes were cut through by the sea waves. One of the holes today is an arch about 15 meters high. At low tide, the rock is approachable on foot. A small boat can pass through the arch during high tide. Rocher Perce is a major tourist attraction of Quebec. What I like the most is the gorgeous sunrise at Rocher Perce. During your visit, make sure you get up early. At the beginning of August, I caught sight of the sun right through the arch at 4 a.m., between the arch and the pillar at 7 past 4 a.m., and the full sun at 23 past 4 a.m. The half an hour of watching the sun rising from the bottom to the top of the massive rock is a wonderful experience. Quebec is a land of numerous natural wonders. In the Estrie region surrounding Sherbrooke, observe the picturesque Rivière Magog flowing from the west into Lac des Nations to meet the water flowing in from Rivière Saint-François in the east. It's always a perfect time to get outside in the vast province of Quebec, even in deep winter. Quebec's landscape of hills and lakes is perfect for outdoor activities such as hiking, biking, kayaking, and skiing. In the Outaouais region, Hike in Park Gatineau to learn why a green pond is called Pink Lake. Drive past countless lakes and rivers, and at each curve, you'll be amazed at attractions that are fascinating in every region. The province of Quebec is famous for a long list of things. The renowned French-Canadian culture is inseparable from the traditional Quebecois cuisine, which descends from 16th century French cuisine. Quebecers' crave for good food products is without parallel. Drive from one town to the next on any country road in southern and eastern Quebec. You are actually prenez les routes de fromage, because cheese is a daily delicacy. The province of Quebec has a long history of producing first-class maple syrup. Specifically, le temps de sucre is the period during springtime when many Quebecois go to the sugar shack for a traditional sweet meal. Apart from tourtière, the meat pie, you must try authentic poutine at one of the roadside snack bars known as casse-croute. Certainly, while in Quebec, you have many opportunities to try cross-cultural cuisine. Learn to speak some French while you are visiting Montreal or Quebec City. If you really want to immerse yourself in a French language environment, go to Rocher, a fair-sized town in the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean region near Chicoutimi. It's in these towns where you gain a deeper appreciation of how Quebecers go about their lives. Even after you leave Quebec, the official motto on every Quebec license plate, Je me souviens, meaning I remember, will stay on for a long, long time. Merci Québec et à la prochaine. Thank you for watching and listening. Please subscribe to this channel, Words of Woods.